Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start our board meeting. Firefighter Joyce, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Amanda, will you call the roll?
Trustee Messick?
Here.
Trustee Rocco?
Here.
Trustee Sheehan?
Here.
Trustee Casera?
Here.
Trustee Lautner?
Here.
Trustee Zora?
Here.
President DeCipio?
Here.
Quorum is present, sir.
Thank you, Amanda. First privilege I have tonight is the swearing-in ceremony of paid-on-call firefighter Matt Joyce. Matt is a paid-on-call firefighter with our village. He began employment with our village on January 7th, 2015. Matt lives in our village in the 900 block of Sherwood with his wife and 3 beautiful children. His full-time employment is with a large insurance company. Shortly after being hired by the village, Matt attended a firefighter training academy hosted by the Western Springs Fire Department, and which was attended by candidate firefighters from both the Grange Park and Western Springs. He dedicated a great amount of time on both weeknights and weekends for training over several months by attending classroom sessions, learning and demonstrating practical skills, and participating in live fire exercises. Following completion of the firefighting academy, he attended an EMT course, which again required several additional months of training and studying. As such, Matt has now met all the fire department requirements for probation. He's a state of Illinois certified firefighter and also licensed emergency medical technician. He has been trained in all of our fire department operations and recently completed and passed required testing on the operation of fire department vehicles. Amanda in Chief, would you do the honors, please?
Sure. If I could have Matt come up also along with his family. First of all, if you want to introduce your family here tonight.
This is my wife, Erin, and then my mother-in-law, Diane, and then our 3 kids, Colleen, Philip, and Patrick.
First of all, Amanda's going to come up and actually swear you in.
Repeat after me. I, Matt Joyce, hereby solemnly swear that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. And I will faithfully carry out all the duties imposed and entrusted in me as firefighter for the village of Grange Park.
As usual, it's always an honor to swear in another firefighter, a paid-on-call firefighter with our village. As I've said many other times, there is a lot of time commitment and effort, especially in the first 2 years of employment when someone hires or is hired on and becomes part of our department. Hello. Hi. Matt was part of a larger group who were sworn in last month. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend due to a work commitment, which unfortunately does happen when you're a paid-on-call firefighter. There's a lot of conflicts that you have to overcome in your employment or your time here between your full-time employment, family commitments, and again, it does take a lot of dedication to remain involved. So we appreciate the family's commitment, we appreciate Matt's commitment, and everyone who's helped him along the way. As usual, we'd like for his wife to do an official honor and pin on his badge and make him official. Great. And congratulations and thank you again. Congratulations. thanks to everybody else who was able to make it out tonight again. So thank you.
Bye.
No, I think you would like to get out of here. Okay, moving on, what I would like to do next is move number 17 on the agenda, the public participation of non-agenda related items up, and place it with number 5, public participation, so we'll have participation of agenda and non-agenda related items due to the visitation of a guest here that we would like to hear and that has something to say to the board. So if you'd care to get up to the mic now and speak to the board, just give us your name and address, please.
Stephanie Galinko, 627 Barnesdale, Grange Park. The first thing is something that's happening in Springfield now. They'll be meeting, maybe meeting on it next week, a lame-up session. And it's SB 2818. It is Exelon's bill, Mary's Con Medicine. If this passes, it will probably mean a rate hike for all of us. They want a bailout for their failing nuclear power plants. They told us that they are losing money. They told us that they need repair. They are a corporation, and it's not the state's duty to bail corporations out. So I don't know what's happening right now. The Attorney General's office, Lisa Madigan, closes it. AARP closes it. But we'll have to see what happens, if anything, this coming week during the lame-up session. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If nothing happens, maybe it'll come up, next year again. We'll wait and see. The other thing is I attended a fundraiser function in Evanston on Saturday evening, and they are what they call a sanctuary city. I don't know if it's ever been thought of for Grange Park to do that as well. I can read just a little bit from the blurb I pulled up online today.
Stephanie, excuse me.
Oh.
There you go.
Sanctuary cities across the United States are municipalities that have established policies that don't require local agencies to go after residents simply based on the status of their U.S. citizens. Chicago was declared a sanctuary city by Mayor Harold Washington in '85, and Richard M. Daley renewed that status in '89. This does not mean that the Chicago police and other local law enforcement agencies will not investigate, arrest, or prosecute undocumented immigrants for non-immigration crimes. The other cities that have this status are New York City, Baltimore, Boston, Miami, and Denver. In his statement released Sunday, Rahm Emanuel encouraged undocumented immigrants to call 311 for information about legal resources as well as other supportive services. Operators at that number who would help families with information about Chicago's upcoming municipal ID program, which will start providing city ID in late 2017 so that all Chicagoans can have access to official identification. I know it was, Trump's thing in his first 100 days that he was going to, lock down on that and maybe not give the funding to sanctuary cities. However, Representative Mike Quigley, came up or made the statement that Trump also wants to do massive infrastructure, and if he wants across the aisle to work with him, that's not going to happen if he goes after sanctuary cities in that manner. And there are other cities who have reaffirmed that they are still going to be sanctuary cities. So I really don't know the process involved in that, but it sounds like something that Grange Park would want to look into. Oh, and Trustee Cusera shared with me at the beginning that you do have people in Springfield to keep you updated on what's going on down there. So you probably know about this SB 2814.
Thank you, Stephanie. If you have any information that you can provide Julia, that would be great.
Okay, could I email the information? Well, I do have about the sanctuary city. I have one, and I have multiple copies of the other things regarding SB 2814. So should I leave what I have?
I'll get your information right after you're done speaking to make sure that you and I can.
Okay, I wasn't going to stay for the whole meeting.
I'll get that right when you're done speaking.
Okay, no, that's,
Thank you, Stephanie, for the information. Okay, next we have consent agenda. Amanda?
The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes, Village Board meeting, October 25th, 2016. Village Board executive session, October 25th, 2016. Work session meeting, November 8th, 2016, and Village Board executive session, November 8th, 2016. B, action zoning application number 2016-06, 320 North Wyola. Variations, motion to approve an ordinance granting certain variations for 320 North Wyola, Grange Park. Public hearing number 2016-06. C, action, Cook County Health Inspections, motion to approve the resolution to allow the village manager to execute a certain agreement with the Cook County Department of Public Health for health inspection services effective December 1st, 2016, and continuing through November 30th, 2017. D, action, annual post-issuance compliance report, motion to receive the annual post-issuance compliance report. E, police pension municipal compliance report, motion to accept the 2016 police pension municipal compliance report. F, motion to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. G, action, motion to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and January 24th, 2017, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its regular meeting to be held on January 24th, 2017.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messig?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Amanda. Moving up, we have our village manager's report. Julia?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items to report. The first item I would like to report is that on December 2nd, we will be having the village's tree lighting ceremony at Memorial Park. That will take place at 6 p.m. And we will have the choir from Park Junior High there. And we will also be lighting the tree and be singing Christmas carols. We do that every year. The second item I would like to report is that also on December 2nd, the village president and I will be meeting to brainstorm our ideas for our annual strategic planning session, which we anticipate will take place in January or February of 2017. So we'll begin that planning process, and we'll keep you posted on the planning of that and where we will go, and we will solicit dates for that meeting, which will take place once we enter into the new year. And with that, I have nothing further to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Okay. Next, we have administration report. Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening I have a couple of items to report upon. First is regarding notification to the residents that our village offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 24th and November 25th, in observation of Thanksgiving holiday. Our regular office hours will resume on Monday, November 28th at 8:30 a.m. However, it's important to note that the police and fire departments will still be open. Small Business Saturday, a very important acknowledgement of the importance of buying local, purchasing local, are residents who take advantage of retailing and dining opportunities in our village, LaGrange Park, play a key role in maintaining businesses and generating important sales tax revenues that are essential for funding vital public services. For every retail dollar spent in the village, 1% goes to help fund public services and projects such as vital infrastructure improvements. We encourage our residents to demonstrate your support for our local businesses by shopping locally on Small Business Saturday, as well as throughout the year. But Small Business Saturday is on November 26th and throughout the holiday season, of course. And as just reported, join the tradition of lighting the official village holiday tree at Memorial Park on Friday, December 2nd. The festivities will include lighting of the tree at the west end of Memorial Park at 6 p.m., presentation of the colors by local Boy Scouts, caroling by a local choir, music, hot cocoa, and holiday cheer will be available. Come out and join in the fun. And last, Holiday in the Park. The LaGrange Park Chamber of Commerce will be hosting the annual Holiday in the Park event at the Community Park District Recreation Center on Saturday, December 10th from 12 noon until 3 p.m. This family-friendly event will include free pictures with Santa, a petting zoo, cookie demonstration or decorating, hot chocolate, chili, games, raffle prizes, and more. The event is free and open to the public. For more information on this event, please visit the LaGrange Park Chamber of Commerce website. And we encourage all residents to attend these opportunities. And that concludes my report for this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building activities for the month of October. 70 building permits were issued in October compared to 105 issued last October. We are now at 832 permits being issued so far this year. The last year at this time, we issued 837. The estimated construction costs for the month, along with the permit fees collected for the month, are both somewhat less than compared to last October. 146 inspections were conducted in October compared to 227 last October. 3 were not approved. MB Financial at the Village Market is planning significant interior renovations during the month. We met on site with MB's corporate construction representatives and Don Morris Architects to resolve a code issue related to exiting. Plans are now approved. The work should begin shortly. During the month, staff met with various representatives of the Congregation of St. Joseph Project to review the village permitting process and related permit fees. There are still approvals needed from MWRD-GC for specific later phases of the project, but an initial permit will most likely be issued shortly for renovations to the I building. Final building and plumbing inspections took place and were approved during the month for various portions of the Nazareth Academy Addition project. Additional inspections should be forthcoming as they look for final occupancy of the entire facility. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Engineering Capital Projects, Trustee Casera.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items to report on this evening. The first item is progress continues on the 2016 street paving program. GA Paving has completed the repaving of the 300, 400, and 500 blocks of Brainerd Avenue, 400 block of Stone, Wyola, and Spring, and the 400 and 500 blocks of Kensington Avenue. The first of 2 layers of asphalt has been placed on the 400, 500, and 600 blocks of Catherine and the 200, 300, and 400 blocks of Ashland Avenue. These streets in Brewster Lane are expected to be surfaced by mid-November. Landscape restoration is following behind the paving activity. Also during this period, curb, gutter, and driveway aprons were removed and replaced on both sides of the 1200, 1400, and 1500 blocks of both Newberry and Alama Avenues. All major work on this project is still expected to be completed by the end of November. And second item, Suburban General Construction has completed the installation of all piping associated with the LaGrange Road water main project. Site restoration work is underway and includes new sidewalk and driveway aprons, along with replacement of damaged landscape elements. This project replaces an undersized and failing water main located beneath LaGrange Road between 29th and 31st Street, with a larger 10-inch diameter main relocated under the sidewalk. The new main will result in better water flow to residents in the area and less traffic interruption when maintenance work is required. The project is expected to be completed by mid-November. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Casera. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Messick.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will start with Police Department summary of activities for October of this year. Total number of crimes reported is slightly higher than last year. To date, all reported crimes against persons and property are at 249 incidents, compared to 194 in total through October of last year. The overall police service and assistance calls remain lower than last year, with 5,423 reported through October of this year as compared to 5,506 last year. An update on probationary police officers Frank Slabanak and Tim Girolis. Officer Slabanak is finishing up his field training and has been released for solo duty as of this month. Girolis is on schedule to graduate from basic law enforcement training academy affiliated with the Cook County Sheriff Department as of Friday, December 23rd, 2016. He will then immediately begin a 10-week field training program. In December of 2016, the police department will be hosting the second annual Shop with a Cop special event to be held for 3 families from the Grange Park area, which may not have had the opportunity to give their children a Christmas this year without the program. Very worthwhile program. The police department will be hosting 2 4-week citizen police academies during the months of April through May and September through October of 2017. Sign up to begin in January of 2017. The academies will be for any resident or business owner of LaGrange Park who is 18 years of age or above for eligibility on a first-come, first-available basis. There is no cost for the program. The class limit will be 20 participants at each session, and topics to be covered will involve community policing, traffic stops, and patrol techniques. Safety at home, criminal law, investigations. If interested, please contact either Allison Rackow at arackow@lagrangepark.org or Jackie Vaselli at jvaselli@lagrangepark.org or 708-352-7711, option 4 for further details. And just one note, as a common theme we've been seeing a lot is just for all residents, try to cut down on crimes of opportunity. Make sure you lock your houses and your cars, because a lot of the calls that we do get may be that, and not so much that the police can only do so much if you don't lock your vehicles. All right, and on to the fire department activities for October. EMS responses for this month, 133. There have been 1,395 year-to-date compared to 1,445 year-to-date last year. Fire rescue incidents this month are 45. There have been 395 year-to-date compared to 423 this time last year. During the month, in conjunction with Fire Prevention Week, personnel hosted and participated in a number of public fire safety education and relation events. These included several presentations at village schools, a presentation for Boy Scout Troop 90, a fire safety presentation for seniors at Bethlehem Woods, and participation in a silent parade in memory of fallen firefighters, among others. One of the highlights was our annual open house, which took place October 15th. We had several hundred attendees and wonderful weather. We greatly appreciate the support from the residents and village officials in being able to host this fun-filled educational event. Also at Fire Station 2, firefighters and Sparky the Fire Dog provided cider and fire prevention materials to participants at the Chamber's annual haunted trolley trick-or-treat event. Interviews were conducted of paid on-call firefighter applicants. At this point, approximately 6 personnel will be continuing through the hiring testing process. Work continued on evaluating the purchase of a new ambulance and Quint ladder truck. Additional demo vehicles were brought out for personnel to assess. Underwriters Labs conducted annual inspection and testing of our ladder truck, which passed and received certification. They also completed testing of all pumps on our fire apparatus. And there were several fire-related calls this month, all handled very well by our fire department. That concludes the fire department report and the public safety report. There are no action items.
Thank you, Trustee Messick. Public Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The report for October was as follows. Brush pickup was completed during the first full week in October. 200.5 day shift hours were spent making several passes through town, removing approximately 154 yards of brush from the parkway. Leaf pickup started the second full week in October. 200 hours were spent collecting leaves throughout the town, removing approximately 675 yards. Approximately 10 tons of asphalt was used to during 59 hours on street repairs, which includes filling potholes and water main excavation asphalt patches. The sweeper spent 63 hours cleaning over 206 village street miles and picked up 125 yards of debris. Barricades were delivered for 12 block parties during the month. 116 and a half hours were spent on the maintenance of public works equipment and vehicles. 62 and a half hours were spent on buildings and ground maintenance around the public works facility, Village Hall, and along 31st Street. Over 93 hours were spent on village trees, including trimming, removal of several dead trees, and wrapping new tree plantings with protective tubing. Work orders were completed with crews removing roadkill, picking up individual brush piles, repairing parkways, and making sign repairs. Various maintenance was performed on fleet vehicles, water department operations. Over 251 day shift hours and 17 overtime man hours during the month of October were spent on maintenance and repair of sewer and water mains. 30,270,000 gallons of water were purchased from the Brookfield North Riverside Water Commission. 1,266 water meters were read in Section 1. 51 monthly accounts and 13 final meter readings were taken. Various inspections, appointments, and service calls were performed. 15 bacterial and stage 2 quarterly samples were taken. All the samples passed. 195 utility locations were identified prior to excavations. 8 valve box repairs were made. 1 hydrant modification kit was installed, and that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. Moving on to Finance Committee, Trustee Rocco.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are halfway through our fiscal year. Highlights: the fiscal year-to-date general fund revenue is at 50% of the annual budget, approximately $289,000 less than last year at this time. Other local taxes are lower by about $41,000, primarily due to the timing of cable franchise payments. Additionally, sales tax receipts are about 3% lower than last year, while telecommunications taxes are down by over 10%. It's a great time to point out that maybe shopping local is good, and go to Jewel to buy your Thanksgiving supplies, and maybe for Christmas also, and shop on Saturday. Bring our sales tax revenue in. Permit revenue is lower than last year by about $75,000. The difference is mostly due to a very large permit issued last year. Intergovernmental revenue is 6% lower than last year due to decreased receipts from income tax and personal property replacement tax. A small drop in the income tax revenue was expected because last year's receipts included the one-time revenue due to federal and state tax legislation. However, the decrease is now about 15% compared to last year, which is much larger than anticipated, and there is not yet a clear reason. The Illinois Municipal League is currently working with the Department of Revenue to investigate. The village's share of income tax is approximately 15% of the total general fund revenues. Due to the potential impact on village operations, the village is pursuing its own inquiries into the decreased distributions. Village staff, along with village lobbyists, has contacted the Department of Revenue, state legislatures, and the governor's office to press for an explanation for the decrease. Charges for services are about $44,000 lower than last year, due primarily to decreased ambulance fee receipts. Transfers are greater than last year due to the transfer from the motor fuel tax fund to the general fund to support street maintenance operations. Miscellaneous revenue is lower than last year due to, in part, to lower property damage reimbursements. Also, the village received a one-time payment of $37,000 for past due payment in lieu of taxes last year. The total general fund expenditures are within expectations at 43% of the annual budget and about $15,000 above last year. There are 3 action items, Mr. President, and it's pertaining to the 2016 property tax levy, something we go through every time at this time of the year. It's to approve the 2016 village property tax levy and annual bond abatement ordinances. The village's annual property tax levy is restricted by the Illinois Property Tax Extension Limitation Law, PTEL. The PTEL limits the amount the village may increase the aggregate levy each year to the lesser of 5% or the change in the consumer price index. The term aggregate levy is specifically defined by the Truth in Taxation Law to include the corporate and special purpose levies and excludes levies for debt service. For the 2016 levy, the PTEL CPI change is 0.7% and is therefore the limiting factor. The PTEL allows the village to collect additional taxes on new property value. Over the past 10 years, the value of new property has ranged between 0.04% and 0.64% of the village's total equalized assessed value. We will not know the actual amount of the new value until well after the village's tax levy ordinance is due to the county. As such, an estimated increase of 2% of EAV has been incorporated into the levy calculation to ensure all potential new value is included. The county will reduce the village's actual extension to the amount allowed under the PTEL. Last month, the village board approved the estimated aggregate levy for 2016 of $3,541,043, which is 2.78% above the 2015 extension of $3,445,422. The increase is less than 5%, therefore a public hearing is not required by the Truth in Taxation law. The village's 2016 property tax levy will also include a debt service amount for the 2016 road and fire bonds approved by referendum. The bond levy will not be part of the village's annual levy ordinance because the annual amounts were included in the bond ordinance already filed with the county. For the 2016 levy, the debt service amount is $1,243,076. For a resident with a home valued at $350,000, the projected impact of the total estimated levy is an increase of $375. A chart with the estimated impact for additional home values is attached. Unless directed otherwise, the county clerk will add 3% to the village's levy to offset uncollectible taxes. As has been done in the past, the 2016 levy ordinance reduces the loss factor to 2% based on the village's collection history. This additional amount does not increase the total aggregate levy allowed under the PTEL, nor does it apply to the bond levy. For bond levies, the county clerk applies a 5% loss factor to ensure a sufficient amount will be collected to pay the full required amount to bondholders. 3 ordinances are attached. We'll be addressing. The first ordinance authorizes the county clerk to extend the village's 2016 property tax levy. The second ordinance provides the county clerk direction on how to reduce the village's 2016 property tax levy in the likely event that the aggregate levy exceeds the PTEL allowed amount. As in the past, the village is directing the county clerk to apply any reduction due to PTEL to the corporate general levy. This ensures that special purpose amounts, such as for the police pension, will be fully levied. The third ordinance is to abate the property tax levy for the 2015 sewer refunding bonds. These bonds were originally issued in 2006 for sewer infrastructure projects. While the village pays for the bonds with sewer fee revenue, the bonds are also backed by an annual property tax levy included in the bond ordinance. This provides protection to the bondholders, thereby lowering the borrowing costs to the village. The village must direct the county clerk to abate this property tax each year, or the bond levy will be extended. Staff recommends the board approve these 3 ordinances at tonight's meeting. So the 3 motions are, I move to approve an ordinance providing for the annual tax levy for the village of LaGrange Park, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2016 and ending April 30th, 2017. Second motion, a motion.
I think we have to, I think we have to do it one at a time.
Okay. no
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Rocco?
This is something we do every year, so.
Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messick?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And the second motion, I move to approve an ordinance providing for specific reductions of the 2016 property tax levy pursuant to the property tax extension limitation law.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Rocco?
Once again, we do this every year, and it was explained earlier in the memo.
Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messick?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And the third motion, I move to approve an ordinance abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2016 to pay the principal of and the interest on $3,495,000 general obligation refunding bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2014 of the Village of LaGrange Park, Cook County, Illinois.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments, Trustee Rocco?
No, once again, this was already previously explained.
Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messick?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And that concludes any action items for the Finance Committee. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Rocco. Okay, Commercial Revitalization Committee, Trustee Casera.
And thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items to report on this evening. The first item is regarding the tax increment financing TIF district implementation. In November, village staff mailed over 2,500 letters to residents regarding the 2 proposed TIF districts as required by the TIF Act. Staff also mailed letters to all impacted taxing bodies and members of the Joint Review Board, also required by the TIF Act. A number of residents have inquired about the proposed TIFs after receiving the letters and have reached out to staff with questions. Finally, 2 residents have signed up and qualified as interested parties on the Interested Parties Registry. The village website continues to be updated as the implementation progresses. Second item is regarding the Business Development District implementation. Following direction provided by the village board at the November 8th work session, SB Friedman began their field work for the business development districts. This work will continue through the next several weeks. The village website has been updated to include additional information on the business development districts. That includes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Casera. Other reports, Village Clerk?
I have nothing to report, Mr. President.
Village Treasurer?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to note that the police pension snapshot report is in front of you for the 6 months into the fiscal year, and it shows that the fund is up about $73,000 for the fiscal year to date. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Noller. Village Attorney?
I've got nothing to report, Mr. President.
Village Engineer?
No report, Mr. President.
Motion to approve committee and collectors' reports.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have 3 items I'd like to bring forward. The first one is kind of emotional. I attended the wake of Chris Ellis, our 5-year-old resident who passed away last week or a couple weeks ago. And while I couldn't imagine what this family was going through during this process, from what I hear, Chris was very courageous and set the standard for dealing with situations like this. But what really brought it to me was when I was in line and I talked to the mom, and the mom couldn't express to me enough how grateful she is that the village of LaGrange Park was there for her. I mean, the fire department, the police department, and staff supported the Ellis family throughout their efforts, throughout their tragedy. And it was very evident in me talking to her that this was of vital importance to her that I bring this forward. And it's just heartwarming to know that while we do things great for our residents and we do touch a lot of people in different ways, but to understand how we touch this family, and I'm not sure, I didn't know all of it. I don't know if any of the trustees knew all of what we have done in our efforts to support the Ellis family throughout the 5 years of Chris's life. But it just gives you that gratitude again to know that I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this village and a part of the people that run the village on a day-to-day and a part of this village board. To be part of helping people in ways that residents don't even know, don't even comprehend. And so while I bring that forward, it is gratifying to know that everybody did a part in this, and to see the expression on the mom's face when she was expressing it to me that without the village, she probably could not have handled it the way that she did. So I just want to give kudos to all of the people that were involved. And it just shows you the type of people that we employ and the type of people that run this village and represent the village on a daily basis. My next one is the notice of annual schedule of regular meetings. I have to read that, I guess, huh? State statute requires public bodies to provide notice of scheduled meetings prior to the start of each calendar year. Staff put together a list of proposed dates for the 2017 calendar year that continues the village board's established meeting schedule of a work session on the second Tuesday and a regular village board meeting on the fourth Tuesday of each month. One exception to this pattern is the month of December, where there is one combined meeting, a village board meeting scheduled for December 12, 2017. At the November 8th meeting, the village board discussed further modifications to the proposed schedule. Discussion arose about eliminating the July 11th work session and including discussion and action on items for the July 25th board meeting. The small modification will allow for preparation for the village's anniversary celebration on July 15th at Memorial Park. As a result of the discussion, the proposed schedule for 2017 has been modified accordingly and is attached for your consideration. So if I can get a trustee to respectfully make the motion.
I move to approve the resolution approving the annual schedule of regular meeting dates for 2017.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messick?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Amanda. And the last item is just that on behalf of the board and the village staff, we want to wish our residents a happy Thanksgiving and a safe travel day. And may you have joy and excitement with your family on that day. And also to the board and to the staff, I express the same wishes. Public, well, we did that already. New business, any new business? Motion to move into executive session?
I make a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining in accordance with 5 ILCS 120/2C2, not to return to open session until our next scheduled board meeting on December 8th.
Amanda, call the roll. I'm sorry, second. Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. I jumped the gun. Amanda, call the roll.
Trustee Messick?
Yes.
Trustee Rocco?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Casera?
Yes.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Motion passes
We'll
unanimously.
move into executive session.